Welcome back to another episode of Sustainabuzz, where we talk about the latest buzz in business and about sustainability. So let's continue our conversation from the last episode.
I have a question to that, Mark. These are two different approaches.
Yeah.
ISSB is more of inward looking, so investor centric. The other one, which is GRI, is outward looking.
Yes.
So how are you gonna put that together in a report, or how do you reconcile that?
Just do both.
Because I guess I had actually a conversation with our counterparts in the Asia Pacific region the other day, and that's one of the concerns that are also raised in Australia, for example.
I'm no expert in that. I haven't tried it yet. We are preparing for writing.
Yeah.
And
Right,
actually,
right.
I told my colleagues, that we should do a workshop. We should do a storyboard already. Because both stories, both angles, both perspectives need to be considered. But where do you put that in the physical document?
Yes.
It can be done. But we just have to be, the
Yeah.
devil is in the details,
Yeah.
I think.
Just
For
have
sure.
to make sure that it doesn't confuse the readers.
Yes, yes.
So,
Yeah,
in that,
I have a point to make there. I think in one of the sessions that Mark and I attended, so I think it's nice to have standards and frameworks that you report within, right? And maybe do both. But there are also other things that we do that are not in any GRI. And I remember for the child protection
Exactly.
discussion
Exactly.
that we had, you
Exactly.
asked that question and I remember
Yes.
that. Because for PLDT, that's a very strong advocacy, di ba? Because we enable everybody access to the internet, for example, we feel that the most vulnerable of our customers are kids. So we do a lot of things about protecting children online, and it's a big effort to do that. But there is no GRI anything or ISBC anything that says, how do you report that?
Yeah.
Now, the question to the company is, because it's not GRI or because it's not ISSB, will you stop doing it? In our case, I think whether or not, and I think that was my answer
There you
to
go.
you,
There you
right?
go.
Whether or not it is a GRI standard or reported in an ISSB, whatever standard, what we feel is it's material to the company, it's
Yes.
material to our business. Maybe the standards will catch up with us, but we have to tell that story. So at the end of the
You want
day,
something meaningful.
yes,
Yes.
and something that it's part of our story. Whether it falls within the frameworks or not, sayang it didn't, but that story has to be told. So at the end of the day, I think each company needs to look at itself, its materiality, see whether that fits within the frameworks. But at the end of the day, what is important to you, because it's important to your stakeholders, is what needs to be reported. And I think from a reader perspective, that's also what they want to know. While it's nice that you have a framework to guide you in what you say, it's also important for them to know what is it that you're doing, and let them judge whether that's something that they find value in. So yun lang.
Yeah, very, very good point. And we are already touching some very important concepts under ISSB. Mark mentioned about materiality. Mel mentioned about stakeholder engagement, and I guess really knowing what's important to the organization. And I like what you said that you have to be true to the core of the business. I guess that's a good thing to highlight to our listeners and viewers, that the standard should not be something that will limit the way you tell your story, because the standard should be an enabler. Okay, so you always have to go back to your anchor. What's material to the organization? What are the levers that will create value? And you disclose your story around these items. Yeah, Mark, you touch on risk management, and I'd like to expand on that a little bit. And earlier we also mentioned about embedding sustainability in our processes, strategies, without I guess disclosing confidential information. Can you share to our readers and viewers, how have you used I guess IFRS requirements in expanding your risk universe, and also the activities and programs to address?
Maybe I'll touch on just one. one of the big things with IFRS, ISSB is climate disclosures.
Yes.
You have to quantify.
Yes.
Hindi pwedeng qualitative lang. Oh, lulubog po kami. No. By how much? Di ba? Lulubog po ito in the future. Ngayon, hindi lumulubog. In the future, lulubog. By how much? Hanggang tuhod, hanggang leeg. Because the next question is, what do we do about it?
Yeah.
And especially for Filinvest, which has a real estate subsidiary, and we have like 200 or more assets. What do we do? Diba?
The mitigation and adaptation.
Yeah. So we wanted to find out, okay, how will sea level rise look like? Is it half an inch? Is it half a meter? Is it 2 meters? We did not want to trust global models just like that. You input something and outcomes, here is your expected annual losses in dollars. Where the hell did that come from? The approach we have is we started with the technical part, talking about baha, gaano kataas ang baha. Typhoons, talk to me in kilometers per hour. Because it needs to be translatable to talk to our engineers to what was the wind load that we used for designing this building. In the future, if the models will say, oh, we will encounter 500 kilometers per hour, can that building withstand? And then what do we do about it? Do we retrofit? Do we get rid of it? What? Diba? So in terms of risk, going through that exercise, which is pretty much aligned with the ISSB expectations, made us understand what it's not, kasi right now when people talk about insurance, and I think the insurance industry right now is talking about historical experience, no? But that's not enough, because if climate change is gonna get worse, we need to forecast how is it gonna get worse, and we have to prepare for that.
There should be a forward-looking.
It should be, diba? And the thing is, it also helps us decide or pinpoint which assets have less risk and which assets have more risks. Those with more risk, maybe we should insure. Maybe the ones for less risk, maybe we can absorb the risk. That's a conversation happening right now in our organization, no?
And that's a good.
And that's triggered by
IFRS.
this
S1.
climate risk assessment expected by IFRS.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good segue to talking about how we feel about the roadmap and the guidelines that the
SEC,
SEC proposes.
True.
Yeah.
It's a good story to encourage people to see the other positive light to this requirement, right?
Right.
But maybe we'd like to ask your thoughts about this. You've been part of the consultation process, and maybe from your experience and all of this, what are your thoughts on the roadmap that SEC issued last July?
I think it's good that the roadmap was issued, no? Because for the longest time there were rumors. There was always talk about the implementation, and the deadlines kept moving. So at least now merong something to react to. I think by way of process, it's very good that there was a consultation process. People were asked, what do you think about the draft, the implementation schedule? I think that was very good. I think lang what might need to be tweaked somewhere down the line is how mature are the large non-listed companies, the LNLs.
Yeah.
Kasi if the bigger ones are struggling a little bit, are they going to be able to cope with that requirement? So I think that's one. One of the things that, and I kind of mentioned it to Benji a little earlier, what does that mean? Kasi PLDT is listed in the US Stock Exchange, diba? So we have filings with with the NYSE and the SEC, US SEC. Parang may news ngayon na alam mo naman yung US, di ba? They have a different view of life. So it kind of throws a little bit of challenge to us. Kasi today we submit our FS based on IFRS, accepted by the NYSE, PSE, and US SEC. We don't need to translate it using US GAAP, diba? The general accepted accounting principles.
Right.
But pero ngayon may pushback yata yung whatever. But it's evolution, diba? I guess it will work itself out. But it's sad naman that other jurisdictions don't look at the value that this is bringing to the table for investors. So I think it's one view na, sige, medyo regulation, it requires a lot of reporting, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, once you get over that, I think from an investor standpoint, the story is not complete if you do not see what the companies are doing other than just giving you dividends and profit, right? You have to understand what are the risks, what is their impact, what is your exposure to this particular company under different climate scenarios. If you were an investor, I'm sure you'd want to know that.
Yes.
And what are the companies doing about it? So,
Yeah.
okay, you can change the risk, but are they doing something to mitigate that risk? I think that's part of the story and very important for investors to know. So,
Agree.
yun yung value. Ngayon, the implementation, I think, is probably going to take a while given the levels of maturity, given that the perception is this requires help, so that means cost, diba?
Yeah, Mel, that's a very good observation also, no, the pushback in the market. And not a while ago, we also witnessed Singapore,
Yes, yes.
no, the I guess the first world country in ASEAN. I think they delayed the adoption by as late as 5 years to 2030.
More on
So,
the limited assurance.
Yeah, the limited assurance, and even adoption of IFRS. I think for 2025, they only identified 30 companies which will adopt in 2025. The rest staggered progressively all the way up to 2030. So, do you think for the Philippines, we will start in 2026? Are we aggressive? Or I think it's a reasonable roadmap?
I think what we need to think about is maybe the broader picture. Will the adoption of ISSB standards help the local stock market, the equities market?
Yeah.
Kasi diba, if it's helpful,
Yeah.
as it is, the local stock market is a bit of a laggard in terms of the region. But
Correct.
but very advanced
Yeah.
in terms of its
Correct.
sustainability push, diba? Parang it stands. But it doesn't translate at the end of the day to a robust equities market.
Correct.
So parang sana that and other measures can help, because if at the end of the day it's just another reporting burden, which is what companies will see. Yung parang, sige, we reported na and all, nobody naman is buying the stock, nobody's looking at the Philippines, diba? But maybe it's chicken or the egg. If you don't do it, lalong they won't look at you. So maybe that's the balance that needs to be made. And then, parang the objective sana is this contributes to more robust equities market that will help the listed companies. So parang ganun. May say, may business, again, back to the business case.
Correct.
There's a business case for it.
Actually, if I may share one of the comments of our colleagues in the sustainability space, I recall that person telling me, this disclosure on climate risks, you couple that with the fact that the Philippines is one of the most vulnerable to climate change
It's
in the
number
Philippines.
one.
Why are we going to
Yeah.
disclose
Pacific
that to
Ring
the
of
world?
Fire.
We might drive away the investors. Diba?
Counterintuitive.
Yes. That was one of the initial reactions. Why are we so aggressive with ISSB when it's like pinupukpok natin ang ulo natin ng bato. Diba?
Yeah.
But I suppose, as I was reflecting on that for several months, I realized it's an opportunity to tell the story of resilience.
Yes.
I remember that exchange with GRI people. There was a
Dr. Ali, maybe.
earlier than that yata eh. Yeah, but I said, nowhere in GRI do I see any metric or indicator on resilience. You are so obsessed with greenhouse gas emissions, and this is not that relevant to this country than climate change adaptation. There's none.
But if you put them all together, that's, I think, somehow resilience.
Yeah, well, we are, kasi, di ba, the objective of that at the time, and the reason why ISSB was created was because there was this need for the financial, for the investors to
Right.
compare us apples to apples.
Exactly.
And that on that metric, on greenhouse gas emissions, that's something that we can all speak. No, we have this greenhouse gas protocol. But the cuento of the Philippine companies is not about greenhouse gas emissions.
Yes.
It's about adaptation.
Very little contribution.
Imagine our footprint is only 0.48 or 0.45.
Yes, less than 0.5%. No?
Exactly,
But of
exactly.
course, knowing that if you combine all of the other 0.5s of the
Well,
world, all of the other countries,
That's true,
no,
that's
we
Top
collectively
40
we're at 40%.
But,
Diba?
but if we focus on governance, then everything else will follow, I think.
Yeah. There was somebody who asked me a few weeks ago, why is governance part of sustainability reporting? I said, what's the value of sustainability reporting? To establish trust.
Exactly.
Trust.
Exactly.
Maybe government should publish a sustainability report.
I wish.
That's actually
Yeah.
one of the goals, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
You
That's
know,
why.
Yeah, I actually share the sentiments of the reporting entities. No? PNA Grant Thornton is not among the in those tiers, no. But we opted to do it because we wanted to really tell our story and inspire others. But I believe you're right, no. That because if you look at the 2019 guidelines of the SEC, that's a combination of 4 standards that are actually conflicting in terms of approach as well.
Correct.
You have the GRI outward.
SASB.
You have the IIRC,
Yes.
International Integrated Reporting Council Standards, which is sort of both. And then you have the SASB, diba, which is also sort of inward. And then the TCFD, which is sort of both as well. So now you are transitioning to IFRS S1 S2 or the ISSB standard, which is inward looking, investor centric. And if you have adopted GRI previously, how do you now really effectively and immediately transition? Right? Do you combine them in one report? Do you
That's the
do you prepare 2 separate reports?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no,
So
th-
those
th-
are- those
that's
are
the
questions
intent
that-
eh.
Yeah.
The quote unquote transition for us is stick to GRI pa rin while adopting ISSB.
I like that.
We just have to be clear in the narrative
Yes.
that this is an outward looking
Yeah.
point of view
Yes,
and this is
yes.
an inward looking.
Yeah.
The devil is in the details. That's why I'm so interested in having this right shop with our colleagues so that both narratives can be captured, can be
Yes.
told. My worry is that the ESG analysts will
You got it
probably
right.
there's the
I
risk of
agree.
them not capturing or
Yes.
misinterpreting the
I agree.
story.
Yes.
Kasi even before ISSB, we've had some issues with the reports of some analysts because they tend to have their own methodologies and they don't talk to us about it, right? They don't.
Yeah.
We don't even have the means to clarify things
Yes.
sa kanila. There's a tendency kasi especially when somebody admitted to me that as early as 2019, 2020, they were already using AI
Yes, correct.
to
That's
troll
right.
through the
Yes.
nobody's
They use
it's not being,
keywords,
it's not
yeah.
being read by a
Yeah.
human,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah.
They look for keywords.
2019?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started
Yeah.
for the 2020
So-
GMA.
It's hard to if that's why we're very when we write our stories now, kailangan the report has to be text searchable. You
Yes.
don't use weird bespoke jargon.
Yes.
Be conscious of the words you use para AI will be able to capture it
Yeah.
properly.
At the time.
Correct. I guess that's all about effective communication. And I guess this is where I want to emphasize also an important characteristic of IFRS, which is it will be a baseline reporting standard. So when you adopt IFRS, it doesn't mean we do away with GRI or other frameworks that companies use, especially if there are other stakeholders that I guess you want to meet their requirements as well.
I just want to build on what you mentioned. It dawned onto me that while it is true that you can tell your story, the real story of your business and your purpose, it might be misread by others. Unlike financial reporting, we're easy to come
Just
up
look
with
at
the
the balance sheet,
ratios,
income
etc.
statement,
It's
yeah.
more or less we're more a bit comfortable assessing.
Yes.
But what about your thoughts on how do we assess, therefore, the value of sustainability reports or the stories in terms of your sustainability performance?
Maybe I'll start. For PLDT, I think, this also comes back to the other question, tips for implementation. I guess 2 things that was kind of helpful or enabled us to push sustainability even more was our president then, si Alpan Lido, has retired, parang said sustainability is a key pillar of our strategy. And then he said, I want it in my scorecard. So if it's in my scorecard, it's in everybody's scorecard. So again, I say the ones who are easy to convince are convinced anyway, but that's what helped people who did not believe get into the, diba, get in step with us. Now maybe I bring that up because one of the things that, and then he said, we want to be a leader in the region. Just ko napaka-nebulous, diba? So we decided, what is the metric that will define that you've actually already attained leadership? So we looked at the different ratings agencies kasi ang daming issue ratings agencies. Yung iba, you can pay whatever, consultancy to get the score. So we found one of them that you didn't have to pay, which is very also transparent about the framework, about what they're scoring, methodology. And in a way, maybe the tip for others is look at that framework because what it defines is a global best practice set of criteria. So you can follow it. You can say, okay, this is what they're looking for. Maybe we don't have it today. Let's go and look for that. So that is what, and then the score comes out, diba? And it's something that, I guess to Benji's point, you have to substantiate. You can't just say, eh kasi kwento-kwento ganyan. It has to be publicly available. So you use it as reference material. So it's very important that when you do, you communicate your story. Not only in the sustainability report, but you have to tell people what you do. And it's sometimes putting it out there that you did a particular thing, not for anything else, but documenting. Because when the ratings assessments come along, you have to put reference materials, and those are the sources, your sustainability report, your press releases. So yung different ratings agencies, we use that as a metric to test how have we performed. And in the case of PLDT, we started, meron pa one of the ratings agencies, we started out with an F. So it's like, oh my gosh, diba? Kasi hindi kami nagbayad ng fee. F kami. But over time, parang we improved our score. And then there are some, as you said, it's like a black box. You don't know why your score was like that. But there are those who do engage with you and they tell you, these are the areas you performed well. These are the areas that need improvement. So for us, it's like a blueprint. And then when you share it with management, for example, we didn't do very well in a particular area, then it maybe they can't do anything about it, but at least it brings to the consciousness of management, what is it that we need to work on, or what is it that we say, no matter what you say, we can't change things, but at least you know. Right? So yung mga ganung assessments are very helpful tools to create your roadmap, to give you a score, diba, from the outside, what do they think you're doing? And for the teams that work, and it's not only the Sustainability Office, but all of the units that ininganyo namin to help put things together, parang sa kanila scorecard din yun, tsaka matter of pride, diba? And then, so that, I think, and there are some people naman who think, oh, you're just working on a score. Those are the ones that talagang come back to we will talk to you again because you think it's all about the score. It's not. The score is a good maybe mirror to see how well you've done, assessed by a party that you did not have to pay, and something that you can work forward from. Diba? Parang ganun.
It's a sign of progress. I think that's where you're maturing, right?
Unlike financial reporting, you just look at the bottom line, you know which company is more profitable. But for sustainability reporting, I guess that's why it's also important that you set goals. And that goal is very unique to that organization.
I agree with you 100%, Tenji.
And I think the goals align with your purpose because that's the reason why you're telling the story anyway. Right? Nice.
I think that takes care of the fear that when you transition fully to an inward-looking standard, you lose sight of what you should be doing to protect the environment, to take care of others.
Correct. Yes.
We look at it from a perspective of risk management kasi. If you don't take care of the environment, that environment is the one that provides ecosystem services for your business to thrive. If you don't take care of your own people, they're gonna leave you, and who runs the business? So it's really aligned, diba? The alignment with the environment, social, and the business goals, it's there.
And also your community. If you don't take care of your community, they will not give you the right to operate there. Right? The license to operate. So maybe we'd like to thank our panelists today, Benji.
Yeah.
We have covered a lot, and I think there's still a lot to uncover.
Yes.
Right?
Agree, agree.
As we end, maybe let's give our audience some nuggets.
Siguro practical.
Yeah, practical nuggets of sustainable wisdom. So maybe we can begin with Chris. Okay.
Sige.
Okay, well, thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Arnel, Chair Benji, for though I'm part of the PSRC committee, but I just wanted to say to our audience that I'd like to highlight because it's the very example that I can think of. Our firm, P&A Grant Thornton, we are not among the companies in those 3 tiers or even a large non-listed corporation being a partnership. But just the same, we opted to do this sustainability journey because we really want to inspire others. We want to walk the talk, so to speak. And we want to make sure that we continue on improving and growing in this sustainability journey. And in the process, perhaps we can impact, we can give more value to our stakeholders, especially our clients and our people.
Thank you. Well said. Chris? Elisa.
Okay. I guess sustainability makes business sense. And for us as God's creation, I think we have a responsibility to make sure that the resources that were given to us are not wasted and that we are actually able to be stewards of that for the next generation. And I think as any journey, the most important part is to take the first step. I think the SEC guidelines may be daunting, so parang sometimes you don't know how do we go about doing this. But like anything in life, the most important part is taking the first step and knowing where you want to go to. And again, back to what I said earlier, know your purpose, take that first step. If you if you fall, just pick up yourself and walk ahead. And before you know it, we'll go far. And I think journeys are done not necessarily alone. So there are partners. I think what you will see also is the sustainability practitioners are not selfish. Because I think if you ask us to talk for a whole day, we can talk a whole day. Because we want to share what we've been able to go through. We want to help people. And when you talk about sustainability, there is no competition. Because not one person can do this alone. In fact, many people are needed to be able to get this journey through, diba? To get through the journey. So call on us anytime. Happy to share whatever it is that
Thank
if
you.
you find value to what we've gone through, then happy to share.
Actually, among us sustainability practitioners sa space natin, copy proudly, we share this. It is not a competition. We're all in this together. If you want a critical mass, it's not going to be done by just
That's the
a handful
spirit.
of people, diba? So the call out here is for everybody to be involved, whether small in your small little way, or in big corporate initiatives. Let's all do our share. It's a journey, as Ms. Mel mentioned. We're not perfect. We always strive to be better than what we were before. And maybe if I can add something here, in sustainability practice, it has to be authentic. This is not a sticker you put on your brand.
100%
This is
agree.
authenticity, and we have to be real about it. Because in the end, why do we do all of these reporting things? It's not really for short-term profit, all that. It's for the future. It's to give our children a better world, that we found. So I guess that's parting words. More discussions to come, I hope, because there's a lot to uncover and unwrap. But I hope this series will be shared with a lot of people, will result in more conversations, because that's what we need, so that we can all change, be in the same direction together.
Again, thank you very much to our esteemed
Yes.
guest,
Yes.
Chris, Mel, and Mark. And of course, thank you, Doc Arnel, for allowing us to use your facility here in
This is not mine. But you know.
your university's
Yes,
facility.
thank you.
But just want to add some words of encouragement. And I think you've heard it from Mark and Mel as well. This is our own journey. And my encouragement is for companies, both listed and non-listed, to be more proactive. Us in PSRC, we're only, I think, 18 members. We have limited bandwidth. We're doing this for free. We're a non-profit organization. But if we see, I guess, interest, interaction with a lot of companies, I guess that will inspire us more to really reach out and, I guess, discuss all these issues. Because at the end of the day, it is us that will define what is the right sustainability reporting for the Philippines.
That's true. Thank you very much, Benji. And on that note, maybe today we heard sustainability is about walking the talk. But we also forget the fact that sustainability reporting is talking the walk. And with that, I think we'll have to end our podcast for today, our inaugural podcast on Sustainabuzz. Join us again next time, where buzz is the buzzword for today. Thank you so much. Thank you.